Alright, Mr. Everything here. We're going to have to stop watching Three's Company here and get back to our air brake study, and we are going to start part 4. So part 4 is the foundation brakes. The brake assembly components at the wheels are generally called the foundation components. They are operated by the vehicle's air brake system. There are 3 types of foundation brake systems: the S-cam, the disc brake, and the wedge brake. S-cams are the most used. S-cam uses air brake chamber and linkage to press brake shoes against the drums. The slack adjusters are attached to the end of the camshaft. This camshaft has an S shape, and the S shape or metal is at the end of the shaft there that's coming from the push rod. The push rod stroke causes the camshaft to rotate, causing the brake shoes to split apart against the brake drum. So basically the S shape is forcing the brake shoes apart, and then that action creates the friction of the brake shoes pushing against the brake drum. Many of the S-cam parts are located in the wheel. Characteristics of the S-cam design is an exposed push rod. Other parts are brackets, spiders, rollers, return springs, dust shields, and a backing plate. Disc brakes also have internal and external parts. With the disc brake system, the pushrod stroke presses the brake pads, which contain rotors, calipers as well, and the brake pads squeeze against the rotor. And you will also have slack adjusters and brake chambers. Now, wedge brakes are a self-adjusting system and have no exposed parts or linkages. The pushrod slides a wedge between the brake shoes to engage the drum. They include brake drums, brake shoes, linings, spiders, dust shields, and brake chambers. You have to be aware of the demands you're putting on the brakes. Speed, weight, brake adjustment, and anti-lock all affect how your brakes will work. Speed and weight will require more brake pressure to stop. You will have to push the service brake harder as your speed and weight go up. Being overweight is dangerous, as the manufacturer's design will be exceeded during a stop. So never go overweight, because you're putting demands that the manufacturer has not anticipated. When speed is doubled, the stopping distance takes 4 times. When weight is doubled and speed is doubled, the stopping distance increases to 8 times. All brake systems have a half-second delay. all must be taken into consideration when following other vehicles. Brake energy turns into heat energy. Overuse of the brakes can create an excessive heat. Excessive heat can cause your brakes to fail. Some vehicles have engine brakes, retarders, or auxiliary brakes fitted onto drive lines that use engine compression. Some trucks have auxiliary brakes fitted onto the drive lines that use engine compression. There is also hydraulic or electric means. These will help slow or assist in stopping and will help stop excessive heat on the foundation brake system. When the brakes heat up and their effectiveness worsens, it is called brake fade. If the brakes are not adjusted within the specs, stopping ability is reduced. You may not notice anything in the normal conditions, but in the event of a high demand stop, the full stopping ability must be available. So if you're just driving normally, you may be totally unaware that you are experiencing brake fade. The brake adjustment must be checked each day. Refer to the manufacturer's chart on brake adjustment measurements. The maximum brake adjustment must never be exceeded. ABS is great as it prevents wheel lock or skidding, but it does not decrease your stopping distance. You must be aware of that. ABS braking allows for better control of the vehicle when hard stops are necessary. The ABS light on means there's a problem with the ABS system. So if that light comes on, you have a problem. But normal braking will still be available if there's a problem in the ABS. So if the light's on, you can lock up your wheels. They can lock up, because you will have just a normal regular standard braking when that ABS light is on and there's a fault in the system. The driver, the operator, and the owner are all responsible to follow the Highway Traffic Act regarding the ABS and all other things pertaining to trucks and the air brake system. There are penalties and fines. There can be a detainment of the vehicle, and there can be an impoundment of the vehicle if faults are found. Safety when inspecting brakes is a necessity. So you should park on a level surface, stay away from hazards and traffic, turn your engine off, use chocks to secure the wheels on your vehicle, and be careful of where air exhausts in your system to not get too close or put your face or hands too close to these exhaust ports on your air system. Checking your brakes must be done at regular intervals, and any defects have to be reported to the operator immediately. The operator is the one who holds the plate portion of the vehicle permit. So basically in most cases would be the owner as well. The operator or the operations imply the one who's running the company of the vehicle operations. The driver must be able to inspect and identify defects in the air brake system. A visual inspection of the air brake system must be done by the driver to see if there are any abnormalities that can be seen. Some parts cannot be seen, but defective conditions may be noticed. Knowledge of possible defects must be known, or the driver must familiarize themselves with problems that can occur. Drivers must begin at the foundation brake components and look for any damage caused by debris, component failure, missing or malfunctioning parts. The driver must check that the brake lining is contacting the drum in the braking position. Check that the brake lining is also in good condition. Check that the brake lining is not contaminated by grease or oil. Check that the brake lining's thickness still has plenty of brake lining left. When they get too thin, it is best to have them replaced. Any foundation brake defect is not allowed on the road. Air brake chambers should look the same size, especially in the front. Sometimes they may look different from various manufacturers. So there may be the same size, but because of a different manufacturer, they may look different. You may have to verify with the technician if you see differences. Air brake chambers must be inspected for air leaks. Inspections need to be done with the spring brakes released and the service brake applied. You will need some kind of a piece of wood or something that can depress your brakes for you, your service brakes. Holding the service brake pedal will show an initial air loss, but air loss should not get worse. Look for holes and cracks, but ignore manufactured vent holes. A pattern should be noticed on all brake chambers that the push rod connections are all on the same connection holes, showing that they are the same distance on all slack adjusters. Sometimes slack adjusters have varying patterns, but the distance between the center of the camshaft and the clevis pin is still the same. It must always be the same. Also, do not forget to inspect for audible leaks. Any change in the brake performance must be taken seriously. Drums and rotors can have no cracks. Any crack is considered a defect. Do a good visual check. There may be parts obstructing your view, though. Damaged or worn lines must be addressed before a problem occurs. Outer damage with no leak must still be addressed. All air hoses and air tubes must be in good shape. Air lines, hoses, and tubes may need to be moved back and forth by hand just to give them a check to make sure they are in good shape. Airlines, hoses, and tubes may need to be repaired if there is a defect. Air tanks must also be inspected. They must be secure. You may try to move them and make sure they don't move. Also, the drain valves must be fully functional. Inspect the compressor with the engine stopped. Check for anything loose, cut, or frayed, or the drive belt. And check the compressor and its brackets. And don't forget that the check of your air system involves audible air leaks, mismatched slack adjusters, mismatched chamber sizes, drums and rotors. Check for cracked or broken air brake hoses and tubes. Check for leaks, damages, wear and tear, improper fittings. The air tanks, that they are in great shape. You must check the low air pressure warning devices. Make sure the pressure is above 90 psi with the engine stopped or running. With the ignition switch on, repeatedly press and release the brake pedal. All low air warnings must activate by 55 psi. Anything below 55 psi, the system is defective. You have to always check the air pressure build-up time. To do this, you reduce the pressure to 80. If there is a trailer attached, make sure the trailer supply valve is closed, pulled out. The engine must be at 600 to 900 RPM. And then as the air pressure is rising, time it takes from 85 psi to 100 psi. It must take 2 minutes or less, or it is defective. Also, test the air compressor governor settings. The pressure range is controlled by the governor. The governor controls the cut in and the cut out time of the compressor. Older vehicles usually operate at lower air pressures. The air dryer exhaust also signifies the compressor cutout. Always observe both primary and secondary tank pressure. Remember, cut in is 20 to 25 psi below the cut out pressure. The engine will sound different at cut in. Alright, so we're going to end this part 4 and we're going to do a part 5. Mr. Everything here, studying away for the Z Endorsement Knowledge Test.